Hello, welcome. I am Dan, your friendly fishmonger at dansfish.com, and I made it. Had some technical difficulties. There was some funkiness. I had to update OBS's software, and it changed a bunch of stuff on me. So first off, before we get into it, could people tell me if they can see me okay and hear me okay? I just want to make sure everything's working. While we're waiting for people to chime in about that, here's what we're doing today. We're going to give our shipping report, which I have to look up. So I can do that real quick. And then we have an awesome giveaway for you guys tonight. And then after that, we'll get to your questions and comments. But right now, I'm frantically looking for the shipping report update. There it is. All right, that's good. I have good news. Okay, so the shipping report, which we do every week, we tell you what percentage of the fish we sold arrived alive and did well for our customers, because we're on a mission to make that more of a mainstream thing, that when people buy fish, they actually live. That's kind of the goal here. So I'm going to do that as soon as I look here and make sure sound and video are great. Okay, good. Whew, because it looked really funky on my end. I didn't know if this was going to work at all. So I'm glad to hear that. Anyway, last week, our shipping percentage success rate for the last 12 months was 98.28%. It's gone up a bit. It is now at 98.31%. Just a couple of issues. There was one order that some Melanitania tabubil did not do well on, so I want to apologize to that customer. That was a real bummer. But then another order we sent out the same day, those did great. So you never know exactly what happens, but in general, it's really good. It's going up. We're getting close to our 99 percentile. We want to be at 99% success. We want the fish that we ship out to arrive 99% of the time alive, and not just alive, but look good, look hardy, look healthy, look fat and sassy and ready to go. So that's what we work on every day. We usually do a good job. Every now and then something does slip by us. The Corridor stir-by guy, I want to apologize to that customer as well. But it's very few and far between, so we're happy with our progress. As long as that percentage of success is going up and towards 99%, then I'm happy. And we've been clawing our way back for a while now, and we're making progress every week, so it's looking pretty good. So that's the shipping report. Now let's get to the giveaway, which I have to load into Nightbot because I was frantically trying to fix technical shenanigans instead of getting everything built up and ready to go. So here, okay, there we go. I have that built now. So what I'm doing today is gonna do some rice fish, because it's summer tub season, man. It's time to get your patio ponds going. It's time to get some, I don't know, old whiskey barrels on your cut in half out on your patio or whatever, with some aquarium plants in them, some fish in them. So I've been trying to think of good fish that we have that we could give away for that purpose. Here's one of them. These are the gold Medaka rice fish. They come from Japan, from a temperate climate, so they can take a wide range of temperature parameters. They're very temperature tolerant, really, really hot to down to pretty darn cold. And they breed pretty easy. Here's how they do it. They get a big cluster of eggs that the female expels and holds onto them, just like a cluster of grapes. And then at some point throughout the day, she'll find a plant she wants to put them on or whatever, and she'll scrape along the plant and deposit the eggs on the plant. Rice fish are awesome. They're hardy, they're small, they're inquisitive, they're just fun. And they, like I said, large temperature tolerances, which is exactly what we want for our purposes if you're doing a pond. So if you are interested to win a group of these, then all you have to do is type #rice in the chat. Bob, I made it easy. Kaler's Aquatics and Reptiles, I made it as easy as I could. Hopefully, hopefully I passed the easy test. Every now and then I get creative with the hashtags, and yeah, no space between hashtag and rice, Sharon Miller. So it's just hashtag rice, no spaces, caps don't matter. All right, if you enter that, you'll be entered to win, and then a little later, we'll draw the winner. These specific gold Medaka rice fish were bred and raised by a hobbyist here in the United States, so they're locally bred and raised, and some of them were bred and raised right here at Dan's Fish. We haven't been trying to breed them, but you can't stop rice fish. They just keep going, and every now and then babies show up and raise up. So really nice fish, look great in ponds. That gold color shows up when you're looking from the top down on your patio pond. Usually these patio ponds have a black liner or something. Dark fish disappear, but these gold Medaka, whoop, you'll see them, bright gold. Same with the gold, as you all know that I love the White Cloud Mountain Minnow, and I like the gold strain for ponds and things. Albino paradise fish, another great option for patio and pond type stuff. And there's several others as well, but those are the ones that I would say are easy to find, aren't too expensive, and kind of glow on you. Lots of other options. I know I'm not getting them all, but good ones to start with. So that will be the giveaway. Here at Dan's Fish, let me tell you what we've been doing, and then we'll get to your questions and comments momentarily. We have been working on our systems and our processes. We're trying to get more efficient without compromising quality. And so we've been working on a couple things. Now, I'll do a video about this probably, but a couple things that are helping. One, we used to have to take a bucket, fill it with our shipping water, and then take a little half cup or little dipper, dip out the water we needed, put it in the bag, right? So you're doing this all day long, which is fine for a while, but eventually by the end of the day, your shoulder can get a little sore. And it's not as efficient as it can be. So we installed this week a faucet. It's a faucet that discharges a set amount of water, and we hook that up to our shipping water. So now all we have to do is hold the bag under the faucet, and it automatically discharges the amount of water we ask it to, which is pretty fantastic. No more going like this. Can you even see that? No more going like this constantly, right, in the bucket. So I think that will help. I think there'll be less body fatigue. I think it's ergonomically better for human beings that are doing physical things all day. And so I'm excited about that little improvement. That's awesome. If you're listening on the podcast or lurking and you're wondering, why did it go quiet all of a sudden? No, I didn't just drop dead. I was just taking a drink. Okay, so that was a good improvement. We did have a major fail though. We've been working with a couple different manufacturers of plastic bags, trying to get the bags pre-made with the corners sealed off so the fish can't get off in the corners and get squished during transit. And man, we can't find anyone to do it right. But we've been working with one manufacturer, and the first ones they did were okay. Like, there were several that leaked though. It's amazing, bag manufacturers don't seem to know how to make bags that don't leak. And so we've been videoing all the problems, where the leaks are and all that, and communicating with them. They know our process, they know the problem, they know exactly what we're trying to do. They were like, okay, we got it. So we did another order of another batch of their bags. Even worse. So it's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But we've got a fix for it. We know how to fix it. We know what we're going to do moving forward. But the reason I bring that up is if you or someone you know is in the bag manufacturing business, if you make plastic bags, we are looking for someone that can do it right. All we're asking for is bags that have the corners sealed off and don't leak. That's it, 4 mil bags. So if that's you, send me an email, hello@dansfish.com, HELLO@dansfish.com. I would love to talk to you because we don't need to be sitting here with a heat sealer sealing plastic all day long, right? We want to get that fixed. So That is the next thing we need to improve. So the water filling station is much nicer now, much easier on human beings' bodies, much less fatigue on our shoulders and our wrists too, and all that. Now we need to fix the bags, so looking into that. Some other things are in the works too that I can tell you about, as they come. I don't want to, it's better, I think, to wait and make sure things work and stuff, and then talk about them, or say what you learned. So have some more things in the works that I'll be telling you guys about as we go forward. We have a lot of exciting fish to list later this week. I really want to get to the point where I have enough prep time for these live streams that I can do things like get pictures of the fish that are going to be released, at least Google them, get them up, take you guys through them, show you what's coming out probably this tomorrow and Friday, maybe a few Saturday as well. But it's busy. We shipped out, I think, more fish today than we've ever shipped in a single day before. Like, things are growing, things are hopping. That kept us very busy. And then after that, you still have to care for the fish and feed the fish. So right up until the live stream, that's what we were doing, was feeding the fish. Took a minute just to grab a sandwich and snarf it down real quick before the live stream, then started everything up and saw, oh great, we have a technical problem. So with all that, I just couldn't get to that. But I do know that that's something you want, and I am working towards it. So just want you to know I haven't forgotten, and I intend to do that. But we're a skeleton crew here, right? We're a startup company, and when you're in this phase of your business, you're doing a lot. So we're still there. Luckily, it's fun work. We love it. More fun now that we have an automated faucet to help us with our filling of bags with water for fish. That's pretty cool. Okay, so that's kind of the main progress. There's been other things, fine-tuning our system. Did an acid wash on the UV sterilizers recently. Every now and then you have to do that because calcium carbonate will build up in the UV sterilizers, and if enough of it builds up on the sleeves that the bulbs are in, the UV light bulbs, then it kind of blocks the light from coming out as well as it should. So we have sensors on those, and they tell us how much light is actually getting through the water. And once it degrades to a certain amount, we wash them. So we did that. Acid washing is always fun. A lot of fizzing, a lot of fizzes. And besides that, it's pretty much been packing fish, caring for fish, sourcing some really cool stuff that I can't wait to tell you about. And that's what's been going on here. So yeah, that's where we're at. Oh, also we've made some improvements to our videos. I think you'll see, there's still some of the old footage in the can that we're still making a few videos out of, but the latest footage that we've been taking, we found a better way to do it. We can take it in better quality. In fact, we're streaming this right now where at least the camera's capturing 4K. I don't know if it's making it to your end in 4K, if there's compression and stuff as it gets through YouTube and all that. But yeah, we've got the team together and figured out some ways to make the video content better. It should be less shaky. The audio should be more clear and not, it should sound better. Yeah, I think it's gonna be good going forward. So curious to see what you guys think about that as you see kind of the changes coming out in the next few weeks. All right, that's what's going on here. Let's find out what's going on with you guys. But before we do, a huge and sincere thank you to our moderators. They show up week after week. They volunteer their time to make sure y'all behave in the chat, and I really appreciate it. Thanks so much. Just because I haven't said it in a long time, our goal here is to help people with fish keeping, and we want anyone involved in fish keeping to feel free to participate, even if they're kids. I remember as a young tyke, I got into fish at 12 or 13 years old. I would have loved to have a community like this where I could go and ask questions about fish and learn about fish and just geek out about fish. Because, let's face it, it's a little odd. We're a little strange. To be this into fish is not normal. I wouldn't have it any other way, but it's not normal. And so you got to find your people, right? And growing up, I would have loved to have you guys as my people. So we want to keep it clean because we want kids to be able to be here. I would hate it if there was a 12-year-old out there who wanted to join up, but their parents wouldn't let them join up, participate in the chat and in the live stream, but their parents wouldn't let them because the content was, a little too risque or harsh or whatever. So let's just keep that in mind. Let's pretend there's a 10-year-old watching, a 10-year-old me watching with very strict parents and make sure we keep it on fish. Okay, with that, let's get to the questions and comments. I'm going to scroll up and get to the first one I can see. Now, chat does jump on me, so sometimes I miss a few, but I'll do my best. Here's the first one. I believe Del. Hello, Del Cantrell. Good to hear from you. What was your favorite rainbow fish this week? Mine were my Calijacora breeding group. Oh, I'm so jealous. Calijacora are beautiful. Let's show people. For those that might not know, let's see if we can find some good images. Yeah. Look at these. Look at these handsome devils. Boom. So pretty. Any rainbow fish that has nice margins on the fins, that just makes it like a cut above in my book. There's something about a nice long fin with a margin going all the way across, that contrast, that just makes a fish look so good. Yeah, these are nice. These are some handsome fishies. Well, I'm fully jealous. That's one that I don't have. Mine still remain the Melanitania soloensis from Skull Creek. I'll show you guys these too. People are probably sick of seeing them because they are a favorite. This is Skull Creek. I think I spelled soloensis. Aha, so hulawensis. I had spelled that wrong, but here they are. I just love it. Again, it's about fin margins for me, I guess. I love these nice black margins contrasting with the yellow. There's just something beautiful about it. And that's what the Skull Creek location looks like. There are other species or other locations of that fish, and they don't necessarily all have that nice yellow. But yeah, check this out. This is a picture of one of ours. And its fins aren't spread or anything, but you can still see the nice fin margins. Let's see if I got any other good pictures. They're quick little buggers. No, I didn't. I think I took like 500 pictures and ended up with, this is as good as it got. Like, this is not great, but it's what I could do. So those remain my favorite. I love the pinstripes, and I love the nice they're so handsome with a touch of beauty. I just think they're so neat. And indifferent than most rainbows. That being said, those Kalitawa, like that's a beautiful fish. Gary Lang was right. That's going to be it's going to be as popular as like the dwarf neon rainbow. Hey, those things are stunning. The Kamakas have been displaying every morning, and they get that nice bright white blaze across the top, which contrasts with their blue bodies really nicely. Those have been awesome. Yeah, but the Skull Creeks, that's going to be the one. Jeff Rose, hey, Jeff Rose, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Hope everything in your life is going amazing. Last I knew, you had a new lady and you were working out a lot. I think you were hitting the gym a lot. Wonder what's up with you now. Hope you're doing well. Dragon Layer, no manufacturer makes round bottom bags? Question mark. No, they do, but the way they do it, the gusset is on the inside. So how it's folded, there's still a crack on the inside there's a flap, and the fish can literally get stuck in that flap. So there are some that will seal around bottom on the bag, kind of like a Sarah bag. And we have used those in the past, but we're not talking about just a round bottom. We're talking about, yeah, I don't have, well, maybe. Okay. Ta-da, right? You could take this bag and seal it in a smiley face right here, and that would be better than nothing. We have done that in the past, but what we have found is the absolute bee's knees is when you take this bag and you seal these little corners. You put a seal across here and a seal across here. Now you've got like a little, it's kind of like that. It's like a flat bottomed bag, right? It's a rectangle on the bottom. And there are no like real corners like you would have here. A fish could go in that corner and get its head squished. If you seal those off, once there's water in here, there are no real corners for the fish to get stuck in. Plus, you have a lot more space down here because you've made a flat-bottomed bag now. So it would look like that, kind of. So that's what we want, a flat-bottomed bag where the corners have been, those long corners have been sealed off. And no one makes those unless they do the internal gusset, which is not what I'm talking to you, that has this flap out. They don't want the flap out, so they put it inside. And when you do that, now the fish can get stuck in those internal flaps. So yeah, that's the state of the industry. All right, let's see here. Del Cantrell, once again, we have root tabs for under substrate and liquid ferts. How do you feel about shrimp stick? A shrimp stick like fertilizer you put into the filter in outflow instead of dosing liquids every few days. I don't know, Del. I'm like a noob, novice little plant guy. I know almost nothing about plants. I suppose as long as I think that the difficulty there would be it's going into the water column, whereas a root tab goes right in the roots, and so it's kind of localized. If there's a shrimp stick, a fertilizer stick in the outflow of your filter, then it's pushing that out into the general water column, right? It's just going to flow all around throughout the water column. It won't be as localized. And I guess the one thing I would ask is, how do you make sure that the dosing that's put out is steady? Would it be, is it possible that in certain types of water, like if your water is acidic or something, then it could dissolve extra fast? Or if your water is warmer, it could dissolve faster? And could that be a problem? Is it possible that it would get too much fertilizer at once or not enough? So that would be my question, is how do you regulate dosing on that? But I don't know much about plants at all. So I'm not the best person to answer that. But that's my general reaction. Might be fun to have something that was stable in there, that so you didn't have to dose as often or whatever, but how would you make sure the dose was correct? Corey Aquatics. Hi, I would like to sincerely apologize for spamming your stream 2 weeks ago. I'm only 12 and usually watch gaming videos where YouTubers like spamming. I will not do it again. Oh, Corey, no problem. And thank you for not doing it. Yeah, it just, and I know what you're talking about. If you're watching gamers streaming on Twitch or, well, on YouTube as well, I know what you're talking about. It's just over and over and over just to get noticed. Here we just run it a little differently. So, but no problem. You're 12. You're learning. I'm 40 and I'm still learning. So, no problem. Glad you're here. I like to have young fish keepers in the stream. I was a young fish keeper once myself. I'm happy to help you out. Jacob Metzner. Hi, Dan. Are you familiar with Aquaden's diadema? Yes. And have you ever brought them in? Yes. I think we have some right now, don't we? Let's see. Let us take a little field trip to the dansfish.com website. So how do you spell diadema? That I don't know off the top of my head. No, aquadens. Is that not one we have? It must not be. Okay. But yes, I'm familiar with it. Let's just give everybody a look-see. It's a cute little cichlid, little dwarf cichlid. There you go. That's kind of cool. I like the head on that fish. It's kind of a unique shape. So no, apparently I don't have any now, and I thought we'd had them in the past, but I might be wrong. Maybe I didn't see any aquadens pop up. So maybe it's one of those that I'm thinking maybe of Leda Cara or something like that. Robert Whitaker, my Congo puffer is active and seems happy, but he's no longer eating bloodworms or brine shrimp. He seems to only want to eat snails. Should I do anything or just let it be? Well, snails are pretty healthy food, but I think a little variety is generally useful. It might help to gut load the snails, like whatever you feed the snails, some of that will get into the puffer when he eats the snail, so that could be helpful. I don't know. I wonder if it's a thing of just like, I like snails, I'm fed snails all the time, so why would I eat anything else? You know? Maybe he trained you. It's like if you have a choice between a Snickers bar or a salad, it's like the salad's better, but I sure like these Snicker bars, so I'm just gonna keep eating those. Yeah, I don't know for sure. Seems active and happy. It's kind of strange that a Congo puffer would not eat bloodworms readily. They love those. In fact, I've found that they eat anything. We feed them vibrobites, we feed them rapashi, bloodworms, mysis shrimp, snails, scuds. So that's a little strange to me, but I've never gone on a streak where I only fed them snails for any length of time and they just got used to it. So Robert, I really don't know. I don't know, but I would say in general, I think it's useful to give fish a varied diet. Just because not every food has the full nutritional complement that we want. So that would be my take on that. U.S. Scaper, U.S. not scraper. Nothing better than doing some water changes while listening to a Dan's Fish live stream. Hey, we're here to make the time pass for you. I know what you're talking about. I've listened to lots of hours, weeks, months, I don't know, maybe years of live streams while I'm doing water changes. I get it. I get it, and I'm glad to be there. Skipper's Aquariums, holy call. I think it's holy cow. I made a live stream. Hello, everybody. Hello. Glad you could make it, Thomas. I know life's busy. I know you've got a work schedule and a family and all that. So glad you made one. Jacob Metzner. We're normal. Everyone else who doesn't keep fish isn't. You're right. Yep, I'm not insane. The rest of the world is. You're right. Too true. Too true. No, if you notice, though, the happiest people are the ones that have found the thing that they just love and they dig into. And no matter what it is, they're a little weird about that one thing. Like, yeah. Like, hopefully I'm not so weird about fish that when I'm talking to someone who isn't into fish, I just go off about fish and they're not interested at all. That's where I think we have to draw the line. Like, that's where I think we drive people away from fish. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to live a life where I wasn't like way into something, way obsessed about something. Like, how boring would that be? What would you look forward to? Honestly, if you're just kind of meh about things, there's no way to live. Like, your alarm goes off in the morning, it's kind of like, I don't know. Yeah, there's nothing really to look forward to. No, I want to be like salivating, excited about something in life all the time. And it's fish for me. I don't know why. It just is. It's just that, you know, I got the need. I'm glad it's fish though. it could have been heroin. I'm glad it's fish. In fact, I know some people that fish has really helped them kick their addictions. I mean, fish might be an addiction. I think it's more an interest, but has really helped people through hard stuff. So yeah. John, what's your best-selling fish? I would have to look at the analytics, but it changes month to month. But when I run that report, it's usually plecos and rainbow fish are up in the top category. So as far as we sell the most dollar amount of, what's the single fish we sell the most of, period? I'd have to look at that. I'm guessing single fish that we sell the most of. I bet it's some kind of rummy nose. Platinum rummy nose are hugely popular and difficult to get in good shape, so we're able to sell a lot of those. I'd have to check, like individual fish, what's the one we sell the most, but that's a contender. Yeah. A Train, hello. Hope your week is going well. Where do hobbyist breeders sell their fish? I have 40 plus endlers and I've exhausted my local club. What's a good way to approach a LFS? Okay, so if you want to sell your fish, I'm gonna suggest an easy outlet to do it would be getgills.com. You can create an account here and you can list your fish here along with all these other folks. Look at this. These are all individual sellers, individual stores that sell at getgills.com, and you just create an account. You can create listings. It's kind of like selling on Amazon, but for fish, or eBay, but no auctions for fish. So I would suggest that because I'm one of the creators of that website, so I like it when people use it. But also, to approach a local fish store, so here's what I want when people want to sell me fish. I want to know how many you have, I want to know what size they are, and I want to know what you want to charge for them. If you have pictures of the brood stock and the babies, or the ones you're actually offering for sale, I would like to know that as well. If I can see a picture of their setup, like the tank they're in, that's a bonus. So those are the things that I kind of look for. But right off the bat, let's mix our little metaphors here. I need to know how many, what size, gender breakdown, if that's something that's important to that species. Like killifish, I really want pairs. Tetras, cardinal tetras, I don't care. Like, they're both fine. So sometimes that's needed, and I need to know how much you want for them and how many you have. So that is what I would recommend doing. I bring in a sheet with everything you have available, with that information, and leave it with them. I'm also different than a lot of stores. I actually prefer to deal in cash. I know a lot of stores might want to do like a store credit, or we'll trade it for food or whatever, because it kind of helps them a little bit. But I would rather just pay the cash and now we're even. Like, it's just an easy transaction of value. You don't have to keep track of all the little, okay, last week it was six 1-pound flats of brine shrimp, but now brine shrimp prices went up, so now it's going to be like, I don't know. I just prefer to do that. But you might need to be prepared to do store credit, depending on how your LFSs operate. Leo209 Aquatics has joined up. Leo, welcome to the Fishmonger crew. I think that might be a rejoin up if I remember right, but either way, welcome or welcome back, however the case may be. Spinster Sister, throwing down a generous super chat. Thank you so much. Always appreciated, never required, but we are a starving little startup and every little bit does help. My albino veil tails are pregnant. Yes! And the platies are dropping fry. Thanks for sending such healthy and hearty fish. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Oh, that's awesome. I would love to be able to source some of these really fancy high-end live bearers from local hobbyists. Local meaning they're in the United States. Like that would be amazing. Yeah, I mean, and even if you just have a few and I can't buy them from you, it's still really cool. I'm still happy they're doing well. And babies are so cute. Baby fish like that. I see a tank with some baby fish in it, man. That's all the juice I need for like the next 4 hours. That keeps me happy. John, I just got some Mabuna cichlids and they're in a 55 gallon, but do you have any tips or tricks? Yes, so I don't do a lot of Mabuna now, but I did used to work with one of the largest suppliers of African cichlids, and I worked at their location taking care of the fish and things, so I do know about them. A couple things with Mabuna is a lot of them are highly aggressive, and so I don't know what species you have, but there are a few to stay away from because they'll kill your others, such as Aratus, bumblebees. There's a few others, so I don't know what mix you have, but just be aware it's important to pick the ones with the right temperament. They're all a little aggressive, or they can all be aggressive, but some are like uber aggressive, and it probably helps to stay away from those. And unfortunately, if you're going to your big box store and they have like the mixed Mabuna tank, that's probably what's in there, at least a good portion of them. Like, how else you can get rid of your Aratus except for sell them to a local big box store, right? Or to a big box store. Excuse me, my nose is running a bit. Okay, I think I got it. So, it's live, folks. There's a human moment. So let's assume you got a mix that is compatible. Choke that thing with rocks or pipes or something. Lots of caves, lots of crevices. Like the entire back of the aquarium could be pipes or rock work or whatever. They will totally appreciate that. And crowd them. You want to get a lot of fish in that tank so the aggression's spread out. So those would be my tips. That's how I would keep them. Now, I know that if you have a bunch of rock work, you're potentially giving territories to be claimed and defended. I get that. But if you don't have any, then anyone that needs to get away, all they can do is go up in the corner and kind of hang out there, right? And they eventually just get harassed to the point they die. So I know it's 6 one, half dozen the other, one's, yeah. But I think giving all the little caves and stuff is better than not, even with the risks involved. So that's my thoughts, John. And good luck to you. They're beautiful fish. They're amazing fish. And they're, starting with Mabuna is not bad. It's a good way to get into Rift Lake cichlids. It's a good way to learn. There's lots of information out there, lots of cichlid clubs, cichlid publications, and lots of groups online that you can get information from. But that's my thoughts. Oh, the last thing, don't overfeed them heavy protein or really fatty foods. So frozen brine shrimp is usually a great food because it has protein in it, and it's also got a really fibrous exoskeleton, so it's not likely to bloat your Rift Lake cichlids. Also, feed some veggies though. Blanched veggies can help, and spirulina flakes and things can help. Some spirulina flakes, though, believe it or not, are mostly protein. Like a lot of them, the first ingredient is like salmon. So be aware of that. But heavy veggies. In the wild, most of these are eating a lot of algae. And they'll occasionally get some other things as well, but they eat a lot of veg in their diet. In fact, in the wild, they're not starving, but they're stunted. There's so many Mabuna in the Mabuna habitats, the rocky outcrops and stuff like that, the little rocky islands and things. There's so many of them there. There's not enough food for everybody. So they're all picking at the rocks, trying to scrape off algae all day long and try to find a little invert to eat or something like that. And in the wild, they don't grow nearly as large as they do in our aquariums, just because there's so many of them and there's not enough food for everybody. So I think they enjoy, I think they enjoy being in aquariums. I'm telling you, I pounded that sandwich fast before the live stream, and now I'm paying for it. It's making talking hard. All right. Leo 209 Aquatics. The Puffer and the Skull Creek are doing well together. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Now I want to add more Skull Creek. Well, we've got you. I think we've got a few more. Yeah, I'm sure we do, because when I fed today, I didn't count, but I observed, and there were several in there. So we've got you. We don't have a ton left, but we've got some left. And I'm glad you like them. My favorite rainbow. And I might be alone in that. I think other people prefer, I don't know, Bozemanii or Blairii or Kalitawa. Yeah, some of the or maybe some of the Glossolepis. All the color, right? The color, that's what we want. I like color too, but there's just something about them. Something about the Skull Creeks. Corey Aquatics. I'm 12 and love watching your videos. I have 6 tanks in my room. Dude, you remind me of me when I was your age. Any of my family members that are watching this right now in seeing that comment are laughing, because they know that's exactly what it was like when I was a kid. I have 6 tanks in my room, 70 gallons of water plus a bearded dragon tank. Anyone who says 12-year-olds can't be into fish are completely wrong. I've never said that. Man, I was you. Robert Whitaker. Is there anything you do to treat your scuds before feeding them to fish? I'm concerned about transmitting disease to the fish. No, not at all. The scuds are in their own tank, and I don't know of any diseases scuds carry that transfer to fish. I mean, there's probably something. Heck, there's diseases that fish carry that I can get, so I guess there's maybe the off chance that could happen, but no, I've never treated them. I just collect them and throw them in. Been doing it for years, nary a problem. The only problem is when the scuds become established in the tank you were feeding them in, and if you don't want them in there, you'll never get rid of them. So the fish usually keep the population down though, so it's kind of nice live food for the fish. But if you're thinking of doing like some kind of shrimp colony in the tank or whatever, that's the only problem I could see. Now you can eradicate scuds. You use Dimilin X, and you use it at least 3 times the directed dose. I'm getting that from HC Aqua. Jesse, thanks again for figuring that out and sharing that with me. So it's not the end of the world if they get established and you want to clear them out. But no, as far as disease, I've never had a problem. Ken's 3D and Aquatics. How do I convince my wife? I'm just gonna say, you tell me, brother, to allow me to add another 20 10-gallon tanks on top of the 7 display tanks and 10 other breeding tanks. I need more and more and more. Yeah, I hear you. I don't know. I guess it depends on the purpose of the tanks. Is the purpose of the tanks 20 10-gallons? Sounds like a breeding rack to me, so you're raising some fish, so you're making some money. So maybe you write up a business plan, and maybe you present that to your wife and say, here's our business plan. I need this much just to like keep my hobby going, but anything I make above that goes into a fund where I take you out to a nice dinner. Something like that. So here's the business plan. If I make this much, we do something nice for you, baby. Yeah, maybe that would work. Or is it like, honey, you got a choice. I could be at the bar or I could be here messing with my fish. I don't know. Yeah, like, what's the alternative? If you're not doing the fish, what are you doing? And if it's something that annoys her more, then maybe the fish win. I don't know. I'm super lucky, man. I I married a very supportive wife who understands what it is to be absolutely obsessed about something. She is obsessed about writing. She writes novels and about music. She's an amazing musician. In fact, she'll be doing a song at 8:30 on her YouTube channel, so I'm going to pop over there after this stream and listen to that. You're all invited to join me. It's, what is it, Wishing You Were Somehow Here Again, one of the great musical tunes, and it's, I don't know, it's 2.5 minutes, something like that. So she supports me, and she knew before we got married what she was getting into, so I do have that. There's a lot of folks that, weren't into fish or animals or whatever when they met their spouse or their significant other. So then suddenly out of nowhere, you've been married for a while and suddenly you're like, I'm going to get a bunch of fish. And she's like, I didn't know that was coming. Brenda knew that was a thing. Like, we talked about that before we even got married. So we talked about the important stuff, like fish. So yeah, but that's my best, Ken's 3D and aquatics. Those are my best thoughts. Woo! Super chats and memberships are here and I haven't been seeing them. So let me do some shout outs to, first of all, Jeff Rose. Good to see you, my old friend. Dan, congrats on the business you've created. Everything I have looks so state of the art. Proud of you. Much love. Cool. Yeah, thanks. It's been a long haul. I mean, you knew us when we were just wee tykes, right? Just getting started. So, but it's coming along, man. It's coming along. There's still things we have to do. We're not out of the woods yet. We're still in the startup phase for sure. But we've come a long way, baby. Yeah. And thanks for your support. Leo, the Puffer and Skull Creeks. Okay, I missed it earlier. I think the Puffer and Skull Creek have been doing great together in the 75. Want to add more Skull Creek now. When will you get more autos? And will you get Bumblebee autos? Okay. So I was toying with the idea of doing a order of autos and zebra autos and a new auto I've never seen before. I don't know what it is, so I was just going to order it to find out. The problem is there weren't enough other things that supplier had available to justify an import. So the autos were cool. They had some cool pencil fish. And then the rest of it was kind of like, yeah, I can't sell any of that. So I wasn't able to do it. But it will happen because eventually I'll be able to find a time when that import aligns with some other imports, and so it's worth doing it all at once from separate folks. That makes it worth doing it and doing the drive to Denver to pick everything up and all that. But that wasn't in the cards this time around. But I want to always have in stock auto sinkless, giant autos, zebra autos, and orange zebra autos, or the RoboCop auto, or whatever you call it. Those are ones that I would like to always have in stock. So whenever I can, I get them in. And I wanted to pull the trigger. They would have, I wanted to pull the trigger and bring them in a few days ago, but it didn't line up correctly, so I couldn't. I could have. I chose not to. I didn't want to drive all the way to Denver for, 2 boxes of fish. That's just, nope. But, so I don't know when I'll get more, but I promise you, as soon as I can, I will. I have a great supplier for them. I know where to get them. I know how to get them healthy for you. They just don't have them all the time, and when they do, I'm not always able to bring them in because of import minimum thresholds. Gary Williams, 8 months. I'm late as usual. Well, thanks for being a member at 8 months. That clears all tardies. Here's your tardy clear pass. Yeah. Thanks for being a member, though. Really sincerely appreciated. That little monthly revenue for us as a little startup business on a mission is just super helpful. So appreciate it. Chris Smith, Dan's Fish My Koi and P. Scalari Angel. Oh, yeah. Pterophyllum Scalari angelfish are breeding. And my LFS want to buy the fry. Okay, will there be any issue with the fry having mixed genes? Well, they're the same species, so you're breeding koi angels with like a wild type is what I'm taking from the comment. So I don't think so. I think your LFS would take the babies. I don't know what they'll look like. It depends on the genetics. They might all look kind of like a wild type, or by now, unless they were like wild caught or F1 or something, angelfish just have all kinds of genes mixed in. So you're probably going to end up with like a cornucopia of different kinds of angelfish. But I don't know. I don't know what their genotype is. But the worst case is you get a bunch that look like, a wild type scalar, and that's probably fine for your local pet store. I don't know what they're looking for, but yeah. Killers Aquatics and Reptiles, another member for 8 months, plus an OG supporter. So Bob has been on this train since the beginning. I think Bob was in the first live streams when we had 6 people. One of my very first customers, huge supporter over the years. So thank you, Bob. Really appreciate you. Everyone, memberships are another awesome way to show you support Dan. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And we encourage the memberships. They're very helpful. What are we at, $4.99 a month or something? So yeah, if you want to do that, I encourage you to do it. There's no pressure though, no pressure. I fully acknowledge that I don't do a lot of stuff that's special just for the members, just because I don't have the bandwidth right now to do it. But it's been amazing to me how many people want to support and find enough value in what we're doing, even though we aren't doing a lot of stuff just for members that have joined up. It's a substantial number, and it adds up, and it really does help every month. So thank you for the member join up shout out there, Killers Aquatics and Reptiles. Scrolling here to make sure I didn't miss anything. I did not. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like this stream's going good tonight. It's always the ones where I'm not looking forward to streaming. It's not that I don't enjoy streaming, but sometimes I'm just tired, or I've got 10 other things I need to do before I sleep, or I feel a little off, maybe I feel just a little sick or something. And it's just kind of oh man, I don't want to stream, but I made a commitment, I'm going to stream, and those always end up being the most fun. I think it's probably because I get some weird nervous energy because of that or something. I don't know, but it feels like it's going really well tonight. We have 295 folks here. That's not bad at all. Thanks for spending a bit of your Wednesday evening with us. If you wouldn't mind taking a moment to share this out to folks, maybe we could grow the viewership. And if you don't know who to share it out to, just an ex-lover will do nicely. Let's make the chat nice and lively. Kelly Foreman. Oh, Kelly, thank you. Kelly Foreman just gifted 5 memberships. That's awesome. That is one of the most helpful things someone can do for us, because as I say every time someone does this, a percentage of the folks that were gifted a membership will join up and become renewing members, and that's just recurring revenue for us, which is super helpful. There's nothing better for a company than recurring revenue it can count on, just knowing it'll be there, because there's so many things you don't know when you start up a company. So that's awesome. So Kelly, thank you so much. Cheers. Jacob Metzner, what are some resources you would recommend to learn more about rainbow fish? Oh, well, first of all, join ANGFA. Okay. ANGFA here. All kinds of information about rainbow fish and other fishes of Saul. Saul is the name for the continent, which comprises of Australia and Papua New Guinea. That used to be one single land mass, and so the fishes on both those islands, I don't know, is Australia an island? I think of it as an island. It's a massive island. I know it's a continent, but anyway, they're very similar because they used to be the same piece of land, so they have a lot of the similar species, or are very closely related at least. So this here is a great place. Another great way to do it is just Google any rainbow fish, and it'll take you to here, ANGFA. But this is the rainbow fish section. In here, you can look up, see this? This is like, I don't know if it's every described species of rainbow fish on the planet, but it's close to it. It's a lot of them. So let's look at one. Look, it has a fish named after it, Melanotania ANGFA. That's pretty awesome. Never heard of that one before. ANGFA has its own rainbow fish that's named after ANGFA. What's this, Exquisita? That sounds amazing. Oh, that's cool. That looks like a Maccullochite type, like a dwarf. Is this a dwarf? I've not looked at this one before. Look at that, it's kind of got the pinstripes. I bet you this is a dwarf. Look at that, this is the kind of rainbow I go gaga for. It's got kind of the stripies. I bet it's small. Look at that, I'm looking at that right now, but I love margins on fins. I just love it. Oh, look at that, yes. Let's see here, something about their size. Okay, may reach an adult size of 9 centimeters, but usually less than 8 centimeters. So this is not a large fish. What's 8 centimeters? A couple inches? 2.5, 3 inches? Let's see here. 3 inches, yeah. So I didn't even know about that fish until I just got on here real quick. So this is a great place to learn about fish. And ANGFA does a publication. You can join up, and they have a publication that you can get and really geek out on rainbow fish. There's also a group in Germany. What is it? Robenguffen Fischen or something like that. That, I don't know, if you Google rainbow fish Germany, it'll probably be something you can see. But something else, which is super cool, is this. Okay. Hang on, I've got to shut some things before I can show you this. Here we go. If you go to ANGFA and search Adrian Tubbin, you can download this book for free. This is a book on rainbow fish, an amazing book on rainbow fish written by one of the true experts, and it is free online. Rainbow fish nerds just want to share their passion. They're amazing people. Check this out though. Let's just look at the table of contents. It's a straight up book. History, distribution, collecting, keeping and caring for them, breeding them, foods and feeding, and then a whole bunch of species. And this disease and prevention and control, and this sucker goes on for 466 pages. This is such a cool resource. So I would recommend getting a hold of that, and thank you so much to the author for providing that for free for us. That's just super cool. Yeah, I mean, who does that, right? So pay it forward by joining up and supporting ANGFA. So that'll get you started, Jacob. Fish hunter. I love rainbow fish, and I have some of your green dragons. Awesome. Have they colored in yet? They're doing awesome. Can't wait for them to color up. Okay, not yet. FYI, my wife thinks that all rainbow fish look like minnows. They do until they mature, and then it's like, boom. So it's like a flower, right? It's just this kind of petal. It's just this little thing. But then one day it opens up, poof, and there's all this color and petal design and shape and stuff. That's what a rainbow fish is. It's a petal for a while. Or not a petal, did I say petal? I meant to say bud, right? Yeah, it's a bud for a while. But then it turns into a flower. Okay, Hoon Aquatics. Hoon Aquatics, good to hear from you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. A recent recollection has identified that the Skull Creek soloensis in the hobby actually came from a section of Buster Creek instead of Skull Creek. The new Skull Creeks have a bit of orange. Go figure. I mean, talk about confusing. Like, I used to think that the killifish had the corner on confusing with all the different collection codes and populations, and this is this. Oh, now it's been changed to this. Oh, now the name is this. Yeah, the scientists just going back and forth, lumping and splitting and making our lives hell. But no, not at all. Then I met rainbow fish people. Y'all take the cake. It's like we've been calling that fish Skull Creek forever. Do we now call it Buster Creek? If we do, will anyone know what we're talking about? But if we don't, the ones actually from Skull Creek will get confused with the other ones that used to be called Skull Creeks, and now we'll get, the locations will get mixed together and won't be pure anymore. Like, it's, fish keeping, man. Gotta love it, but sometimes you kind of hate it. I would so make bags for a fee, says Orange Cones. I mean, that is one solution. Ideally, though, we can find a manufacturer that would do it and they would work for us the first time instead of having to, like, oops, I dropped my pen. Whew, got it. Instead of having to, fix their mistakes. Toad Tamer, good to hear from you. Got a new tank stocked with some platinum green barbs. I'm guessing those are tiger barbs. Any ideas on dither secondary fish to breed in the tank? Thinking maybe Danio Chopre. If those are platinum green tiger barbs, I don't know if I'd mix Chopre in. They might be okay. The barbs just get so much bigger and more robust, but the Chopre are quick to the food. That might work. Generally, when I think of a tiger barb tank, I think of getting more tiger barbs, maybe different color varieties or something, because then they're gonna, most likely get along just fine. I think you could try Chopre. I'd have a plan B ready though, and ideally, you stock the Chopre first, get them fat and sassy and used to the tank, and then add the more aggressive species so that the Chopre have a chance to kind of, get a leg up on them. But it could work this way too. I think you could try it. Make sure you get big Chopre that are fat and sassy. They need to come out swinging, and have a plan B. That's my best thoughts on that, Toad Tamer. It would be an awesome tank if you could pull it off though. That bright like orange of the Chopre when they glow up, mixed with the green. Yeah, that would be beautiful. Ryan Staub, not Straub, sorry Ryan. Ryan Staub. When breeding egg layers, such as Danios, how much could snails impact production? I tried a method that kept the fish in a pond planter with holes and got 0 fry. Did I make a snail snack? I don't know. I keep snails with breeding fish all the time and see plenty of fry, but I mean, do you have like 5 big, oops. Huh, my mic just fell off my shirt. Hang on. I found that having it down here instead of right here, that little distance just, I hope, helps with the audio quality. Because when it was up here, anytime I move my neck or whatever, it would like rub on the mic. So I'm hoping that works better. Hopefully the audio tonight's better. Anyway, I don't know, because if you have 5 bajillion snails, then maybe they'll eat lots of eggs, but I literally purposely keep snails with fish eggs. Snails and shrimp, like cherry shrimp, for example, because I find that they nurse the environment. They'll get the fungus off the eggs, keep things from getting too stagnant, eat biofilm and algae and stuff that might grow in the container. So I've actually kept snails and shrimp with fish eggs on purpose in like a nursery situation a lot, but I haven't done it with Danios, and usually the fish I'm breeding in that situation are mop spawners, Cory, I'll get to Cory's in a minute, rainbow fish, killifish, rice fish, things like that have tough eggs, and that are eggs that are fairly large as well. I also do with Corydors, that's why my mind went there, but Corys have really tough, big eggs. I mean, you can take a Cory egg and it's straight up durable, man. So I don't know about little danio eggs because they're tiny and they might not be as well developed. You know, the membrane, the shell, is probably not as robust. So I don't know. I don't know, Ryan. Robert Whittaker, should we quarantine fish that we buy from you? I always want people to quarantine no matter where they get them from. It's too much pressure on me if people are like, I'm not going to quarantine your fish. I'm just like, but what if that's the one time I missed something? Because I do. Roughly 1% of the time, if you take my whole history in business, there's a problem. Roughly 1% of the time. But what if that's the time? And what if the problem is such that it's something that's like highly contagious and wipes out your entire aquarium? I would just, no, I don't want that pressure. Get that pressure off me. Quarantine. So I always think it's a good idea to quarantine, no matter where you get the fish. That being said, the vast majority of people that buy fish from us don't quarantine, and the problems are few and far between. But when they happen, they nasty. When something gets by and is highly contagious or really bad, and a whole tank crashes, I mean, I cannot even think of the last time that happened. I think it's been years. I mean, if that's even what happened for sure, but that's the pressure I feel when I sell fish. And if you quarantine, helps me breathe a little easier. Orange cones. Oh, by the way, I want to say quarantine doesn't necessarily mean medicate. So if you just keep the fish separate from your main population and observe them for a few weeks, that's fine. A lot of times we conflate quarantine and medicating. Quarantine does not mean medicating. It means separating from a population and observing. That's what quarantine is. So just because I think you should quarantine doesn't mean I'm saying dump a bunch of medicines on them. I'm not saying that either, though. If you have a quarantine method that works and you want to use the Aquarium Co-op Med Trio or whatever, I don't think that's going to hurt anything. Orange cones, I remember you saying not that long ago that you had no plans of doing plants. Lol. Yeah, that's true. But, and then I got some plants, right? Yeah. Oh, that's true. And now I'm wondering if I want to do plants for the next while or at all. Again, I go back and forth. It's just, I talked about it a bit last week, but we're shipping so many fish now. Like I said, today we might have shipped out more fish than we've ever shipped out in one day before. Makes for a long day. And we have all our systems and processes in place, and we're constantly trying to improve those. Fish, shrimp, and snails, they're kind of all in the same process, more or less. Plants are a different process. So when you're doing that volume of your main business, and then you have to go do plants, it just throws a wrench in the process. It makes everything less efficient, and I don't know how to describe it exactly, but that's how I'm going to describe it. So is it worth doing a little side hustle of plants and making a little money, but not being as efficient as you could be in your main business because you have this little distraction? That's the question. So we have some things in the works right now where we think, we wonder if we'll be doing plants in the foreseeable future. Yeah. But, you know, I tend to say things way before I should. We don't know what's going on with everything yet. But yeah, I never learned how to keep my mouth shut. I look at you guys as like my local aquarium club, and I'm just chatting with friends. And I'm so excited to tell people about stuff because I think it's exciting. Sometimes I say things and people are like, what is he even talking about? Hopefully you'll know in a few weeks. There's just stuff in progress. Lady Rorschach, I am new to barbs. I would love to know your thoughts regarding cherry and dwarf gold barbs for a beginner. Much obliged. Both of those are great. The dwarf gold barb or gold dwarf barb is maybe the most peaceful barb I've ever come across. Super peaceful. Maybe the amber barb's more peaceful. That's a little tiny micro barb out of Africa that looks like a Boraris species. It's that small. But the gold dwarf barb's pretty darn peaceful. So if you're like wanting the most peaceful barb, for sure. They're both hardy. They're both not too big. They're both good community fish. Cherry barbs as well, though. They're awesome. The main difference, I would say, cherry barbs get a little bigger, and they're more, I don't want to say food aggressive, but they're one of those fish that there's food, they mob it, right? Whereas the gold dwarf barbs are much less food aggressive. So if you're keeping cherry barbs with other fast to the food fish, not a problem. But if you've got little, I don't know, toothpick fish or little stiff-foot-on gobies, other fish that are slow eaters or need dwell time with the food or whatever, then the gold dwarf barbs are probably a better match for those fish. That's how I would gauge it. How everybody gonna eat, and that's kind of the difference between the two. All right, I need to wet my whistle, so if you're listening on the podcast, give me one moment to get a drink. Cheers, everybody. My name is Nobody. Any plans on bringing in albino Congo tetras? I actually do have plans to do that. I ordered some the last time I did an import, and they just did not show up. I got shorted. One of the joys of being a fishmonger is you order what you order, and you're not quite sure what's going to show up and not show up all the time. So they did not show up, but I will try again. I've never had them before that I can remember, and I'm just curious. I wonder what they're like, so I'm going to give them a whirl. Zoltan's Aquatics, can you get pygmy sunfish? I can, but I don't, because I think the price I'd have to charge you would be like 40 or 50 bucks a pair, which just seems like a lot for pygmy sunfish when you can probably get them at, let's see, with Jonah's Aquarium. This is a great place for native fish. Look at all these fish they have available. If you're into natives and you don't know about this site, well, first of all, I'd be surprised, but second, now you know. I'm not seeing them. Oh, here's one. Ellisoma zonatum, the pygmy banded sunfish. And see, they sell theirs for what, like 12 bucks? Yeah, 12 bucks, and if you buy more, you get a discount. So I can't justify bringing them in. Of course, that's the only species they have. So maybe you want a different species that they can't get. I don't know. But it's hard for me to justify 40 or 50 bucks a pair. I think I could get them in pairs when I know Jonah's Aquarium sells them for, that price. And Saks Aquaculture used to sell them for a decent price as well. So that's why I don't get them. I can, but it doesn't make sense. Fluffy cow, I love it. Aquatics. Any suggestions for breeding Bolivian rams? Lots of food and, I don't know, at least 8 rams in the tank, I would say. I mean, it depends on the size of the tank, but that competition of having other rams around will help bond the pair when they pair off and choose their territory. Having a few other rams around for them to team up against and keep away from their spawning site will help bond the pair, and it will help make the spawn more successful. So tons of food and other rams is what I would say. I found it kind of impossible to not breed rams. Like, they just want to breed, they're going to breed. So the way mine would do it is they would just clear the sand out until they reach the bare bottom and just lay them on the glass. But you might want to put like a little flat stone in there or something like that. A few of those scattered around, and they might choose one of those to spawn on. But I think if you have lots of food, a mature pair, and other rams around, I think they'll go. They're not a difficult species to spawn. Bat Pappy 52. Keep doing you, Dan. Well, Bat Pappy, I don't know any other way to do it, so I'll just do that. But thank you for the super chat. Always appreciated, never required. But it's awesome when people throw money at us. We appreciate it. T-Fish. Hey, would you ever get Dichrosis isn't it filamentosus? Is it filamento or filamentosus? Dichrosis. Yeah, filamentosus. This fish. Yes. I love me some checkerboard cichlids. I absolutely adore them. So, yes, that's one I'd like to bring in and I would like to sell. When I'll have any for sale, that I don't know for sure. But when I can, I do try to bring those in. The issue is the checkerboard cichlid is often on suppliers' lists, but you could order it 40 times and never have it show up. So even though it's on the list doesn't mean it'll actually show up. And when it does show up, they tend to be wild caught and they aren't always taken care of properly. And so that's the issue. They don't always come, and when they do, sometimes it's a lot of work to get them healthy and happy. Michael Ann Sakina? I'm going with Sakina. Any plans to get Apocaliphes macrothalmus? Yes. At some point, yes. I've had those in the past. I've sold lots of them. I love them. 10 to 12 of these would be great in my nano community. Repost. I posted the question way too early. So that's fine. If you guys post a question or comment, right? And obviously I've skipped it accidentally because chat jumped or whatever, and I'm way down below it, feel free to post it again. Yeah. And if I get below it again, post it again. I'll do my best. I forgot to silence my phone. I'm going to do that real quick. I don't like it when my notifications are going off during a live stream. How unprofessional could you be, Dan? Jeez. Okay, so yes, I do want to get some more of them. I do have a source for them. I actually order them rather frequently, and they show up very occasionally. So it's not one that there's a lot of supply at, but I keep trying, and they'll show up again eventually. Robert Whitaker, just wanted to thank you for your channel and your mission. You have educated and acquired a customer. All right. Win for Dan's Fish, win for me, and win for the fish. That's what we're aiming for. Everybody wins. Well, thanks, Robert. I'm can't wait to hear how your first order goes. Okay, I'm scrolling because chat did the jumpity jumps again. Okay, I can see Nick Rectors. Anything above that got cut off when it jumped. I'm glad you're streamed because I've been liking them and looking forward to them each week. Well, I'm glad to hear that, Nick. That means I might just keep doing them. I enjoy doing this stream. I love hanging out with fish nerds, so I'm glad there's some fish nerds that like hanging out in the stream as well. It's a win-win. Otherwise, it'd be kind of awkward, just me sitting here talking to myself. Although I've done that before. If you want a real cringe-worthy experience, go back and watch my first live stream ever. I did the whole, hour and a half without any questions or comments or anything because it was my first time and I didn't know how it worked. And it turns out I wasn't even live. So you got to start somewhere. Anyone that wants to do something in life and is worried that, they don't know enough to do it, just remember that story. That's where I started. Streaming to myself. Streaming to myself. Oh. Mr. Monitor, a few weeks ago, I left a super chat about bubble nesting platies. Yes, it was meant to be an April Fool's joke. I'm so dense, I didn't even realize that. Oh, that's hilarious. But I got pulled away and didn't finish the comment. Sorry for the confusion there, fat and sassy. Okay, Mr. Monitor. That makes a lot more sense. I've been wondering about these bubble nesting platies. I was a little concerned because there are times when Water chemistry gets funny. Sometimes it's because medications were added or there's something off, and fish might gasp at the surface, and when they do, they might create bubbles. So I was like, is this a fish in distress gasping at the surface, and you're mistaking that for a bubble nest because the bubbles are like accumulating around the fish or something? So I'm glad to hear it was an April Fool's joke. And man, what a good display of how dense I am. I didn't even realize that. Worth the wait though, that's funny. Thanks for the laugh. Oh, that's good. Lady Rorschach, I believe you have stated in the past that it is not possible, but I have to ask. I'm desperately in search of a pink female betta. Is it possible to have a custom order made? I can't do a custom order because I have to order in such large quantities. So I'd have to bring in 200 pink female bettas. And if you're the only one that wants them, then I'm stuck with 999 pink female bettas. But what I can do is next time I order female bettas is I can see if there's any pink ones available. And if there are, I might be able to mix it in with the rest. Because when I order the female bettas, I can kind of mix and match a little bit sometimes. That being said, I have never seen pink female betta listed on a list that I can think of. So I don't want to get your hopes up. But if I see it, I'm sure I'll remember this conversation because pink female betta will be a bit of a novelty for me. And if that happens, I'll try to, sorry, I'm trying to get in frame here. I'll try to see if they'll do it in a quantity that makes sense. We have some female bettas for sale now, and both of those sororities are getting low in numbers because we're selling through them. And once we're sold through, I do want to bring more in. They're beautiful and they're doing great. And as far as I know, I guess I should ask this. If you have gotten the female bettas from us and tried to make your own sorority or whatever, how's that going for folks? I don't think it's as difficult as people think if you follow a few rules. I've gone over those in videos, but basically don't feed a ton so they don't egg up on you, and don't keep them too hot. And generally they tend to do well, but I'm curious how that's going for folks. That being said though, Pippi Longstocking is making an appearance, letting us know it's just about time to do a giveaway. So let's do that. Let us do a giveaway. Thanks, Bob, for the reminder, because I was just on a roll. I had forgotten. Mega Mini Loose Cribs had babies. Oh, that's awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. Anyway, got to get to the giveaway or I'll forget again. So the giveaway is for a group of gold Madaka rice fish, perfect for your patio pond. Aquarium bred and raised from a hobbyist right here in the United States. Plus, we bred some too, so some of ours might be in there. Anywho, we've got 215. It went to 217, 18, 19. Are people double dipping? Is everyone logging in with their third account? Anyway, the winner is, before too many additional accounts log in, the winner is the Fishy Plumber. Now that sounds like an original FishTuber account. Yeah, that's legit. Fishy Plumber, thank you so much. Now I just need you to say something in the chat like I'm here or yay or yippee, because you do have to be present to win. You have 2 minutes to do that. So at about 8:27 we'll check, and if you have not done that, then we'll forfeit your winnings and draw somebody else. But hopefully the Fishy Plumber is here, because I need to get over to my wife's YouTube channel, which I'm going to give you guys a link here, because she's going to be singing a song and I don't want to miss it. I love it when she sings. Yeah, premieres in 3 minutes. It's going to premiere at 8:30. So here's a link to that. Wishing you were somehow here again from Phantom of the Opera. Right here, and here's the link. That will be next. And again, it's just a couple minutes. If there's other streams and stuff you want to get to, this, it's just a couple minutes and then you can go. The Fishy Plumber, I'm here, yay, all right, Fishy Plumber is here. We have a successful giveaway on the first try. That does not always happen, so thank you. Fishy Plumber, please send us an email. We need your first name, your last name, and your mailing address. Send that to hello@dansfish.com. That's HELLO at dansfish.com, and we can arrange a shipping time with you. With that, I'm going to shut this out so I can get over to my wife's stream. I want to do that by first thanking my moderators for doing what they do every week. Just thanks. Also, all you members, thanks for being a member. It's hugely helpful. We appreciate the support. Everyone that threw money at us tonight, thanks. Thanks for making it rain over here. We appreciate that. If you were lurking, if you were in the chat and participating and helping folks out and making this a lively conversation, thanks for participating. If you weren't and you were lurking, I get it. I usually lurk as well. Hail the Lurker Nation. If you're listening on the replay, hello from the past. If you're listening on the podcast, that means I finally got these loaded. Good for me. And thanks for listening. We'll be back next week, same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, bye-bye. I'm going to go listen to my wife.